G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, those who watch my videos would know I've had this old Schaublin 102 lathe for quite a while. I bought it as a wreck, total wreck, did it up. It was pretty much complete, but it's in very bad shape. And a few things that weren't with it were the indexing pin for the indexing pulley on the back wasn't there. I made that up. And also the oilers weren't there. The original oilers were missing. They had grease nipples there. This guy that had it had been pumping grease in. Oh, horrible. But anyway, that's what had been happening. So I made up these oilers, and the original 102 oilers were all brass. So I'll come in close and you can see what the oilers look like. So these are the oilers that I made up, which are, well, sort of similar. The base is similar to what an original Schaublin oiler would look like for a 102 flat belt, like this, but the tops are steel because I didn't have any any brass at that stage to make them out of, so I just did steel tops, and they work good. They just drop on like the originals. They don't screw on; they just drop on. So I've been using that for, well, as long as I've had the lathe, which is a few years now. And the other day when I bought that 102 Schaublin that I was laying under that gum tree, I paid 220 bucks for it. I mean, the one thing that really caught my eye was it had the original oilers, and I mean, you just cannot buy the original oilers. They're just unobtainable, and even if you could, you'd pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for them because, well, they're just like hen's teeth. So anyway, yeah, today's exercise is take off the old oilers, put on the new ones. I've cleaned them up, and anyway, I'll show you what we've got. Here's the lathe oilers that came off of the one I bought recently. There were two bases and one top. I made up a new top, that one there, and this is the original top, which is same specification, you know, they're basically the same. And it's just a matter of now putting them onto the existing lathe, and yeah, should be good to go. It was interesting when I did this job because I had to machine up the new top. Here it is here. And I normally do all my collet work on the old Schaublin, and I've got a chuck that I made up, the ER32 chuck, which threads onto the spindle, and I use all the ER32 collets because they're dead accurate. The collets that came with this, and there's one in there. Some are good and some are not so good, but they're all useful. But the main thing with the ER32 is that you've got a 1 mil compression range, whereas these 3-slot old style collets only have a very narrow compression range. So you've got to be spot on with the material you put in there. Now, the problem was when I went to use the ER32, I started off when I bought that originally with a even numbers set of collets, and you can make the even numbers do the job, well, in most situations. But I've been building it up to a even and odd number, so I've got a couple of collets on order at the moment, a 17 and a 19. Wouldn't you believe it that the existing collets I've got wouldn't take the cap. But when I went through the old collets that came with the lathe, blow me down, there's one there, perfect fit. So I did the machining for all the end of this on the lathe using the old original, I think the W20 collets. So, you know, how good is that, you know? The old stuff got me out of a hole and did a great job. So anyway, just a bit of trivia. So I'll take these off, and we'll put the new ones on. Getting them off's going to be interesting. Might have a bit of an issue here. It's going to be tricky. Do that. These don't have a hexi on them. I just screwed them in. a bit of sealer. Bit of damaging. Let's see what we can do. Alright. I'll use a bit of rag on them. They'll come out pretty easily, they're not very tight. There we go. This will be great to get these on. Good. Come down. It's a good day to be working in the shed, even though it's a bit nippy, it's not bad down here. Tight. Yeah, we're cooking. Not damaging, because they are quite useful. You never know what you might want to do with them. They do fit Schaublin. Right, now I'll have to clean up that mess. Alright, I'll come back in a minute. Well, this shows you what can happen when you're working on old stuff. It's interesting. These headstocks are supposed to be pretty much the same, but of course these have been around for a very long time and you don't know who's done what to them. And a thought did cross my mind when I took this cap off. I wonder if this thread is the original thread, or whether somebody has retapped it, or whether there are variations in them. And when I went to put in the new one, yep, you can bet on it, the thread on the other headstock is smaller. Now that's an interesting thing. Either somebody's drilled this out and tapped it to take a later model thread, which is quite possible, or there are differences in the actual headstock. So I've got two choices. I can either make up some little helicoils to go in there to replace the missing metal, or I can actually swap over the headstocks once I've done up the other one, which is probably a good thing in a way, because I'm pretty sure it's going to have possibly a better spindle bush in it than this one, because this one's done a lot of work. Well, that's still good and accurate. But at the moment I can't put my new oilers in, even though I'd like to, because there's a difference there. So it's interesting, I'll measure up the flange and see how, this could be original, I don't know. I'll measure up the flange for the casting and see if it's actually the same diameter as the other headstock. This just shows you what you're up against when you work on this old stuff. Let me just see what we've got. So the casting is 19.35. Alright, we'll check the other one. Check the old headstock that I got for a few hundred. Well, here's how the oilers will look when they're fitted, but let's do some measuring up and see what the problem is. So the other one was 19.4, or roundabouts. and this is the same. So I'd say somebody has drilled out the old headstock and tapped it to take greases. Great. So at this stage, well, it looks like I'm stuffed. I can't really do anything. I'll just have to soldier on with the old oilers. There's not much point in making up adapters at this stage until I check this out. So I'll check this headstock out and see what condition it's in. I'd say it's in better condition than the old one. If it is, I think I'll just swap them over, in which case I'll just put the oilers back into the unit. But what a bummer, eh? You know. Ha! I thought I'd have the old girl back to square one, and there's always some snag. Well, we're back to square one on this. Thinking about it, I'll probably swap over the headstocks, put on the slightly later model headstock, and it's no problem. It's just that it just shows you, you know, what you're up against when you're working this stuff. Some people just do idiotic things at times, and that's got to be classified as idiotic. Anyway, not the end of the world. As I said, you could put in a helicoil, but it pisses you off. You think, oh yeah, this would be good. Have a little celebration today, and turns into restoration blues. But that's it, that's life, and you just got to push on. So anyway, not to worry. I think it's time for a beer. Okay, see you all. Cheers.